I'm back with a brand new movie review, and today I'm going to be talking about a movie that just got released on Paramount Plus today and stars Mark Wahlberg. This movie is called Infinite. Now, I'm going to keep this review as spoiler-free as I can make it. I'm going to talk about who is in the movie, a little bit about the basic plot here, and talk about what worked and what didn't work. First of all, I was pretty excited to see this movie because it was directed by Antoine Fuqua, who has done really good movies in the past. One of my favorite movies that he's worked on was The Equalizer with Denzel Washington. I love that movie. I love the way it was directed, the feel and everything. And you actually can feel some of that in this movie. And I believe he also did Training Day from way back in the day. So this guy is a very competent director. He also did do The Equalizer 2, which was good, but it wasn't quite as good as the first film. But still a very good movie. And Antoine Fuqua is he's a relevant director, and he is very good at what he does. So when I found out he was directing this movie, I was pretty excited. And then you've got Mark Wahlberg, who's in the film. Now, he plays a guy named Evan Michaels, who has been diagnosed with schizophrenia. And he's having all of these memories of things, of other lives and other people, very vivid things. And so since he was a child, he's been kind of diagnosed with schizophrenia, and he's on medicine. And the beginning of this movie is him trying to go get some medicine, but without having to go see the doctor. And when he's doing this, he's got to get it from a dealer. He starts building this sword. And he starts talking about, have you ever done something that you didn't know you could do or seemed like it came from somewhere else? And so there's more to Evan Michaels than meets the eye. This movie also stars Chiwetel Ejiofor, who I know him from Serenity. He played the operative in Serenity who was after the crew there. I loved his performance in that movie, and ever since I saw Serenity, he has been he's a very good actor, very, very good at what he does. He actually plays a very similar role in this movie. He's basically after the team. And I'm not going to give the whole plot away because I think it's important for people to experience the movie for themselves. Now, these two, Mark Wahlberg and Chiwetel Ejiofor, they actually were in a movie together back in 2005 called Four Brothers. So this isn't the first time that they have been together in a movie. The movie also stars, the other big actress in this film is Sophie Cookson. She's well known from the Kingsman movies. She, to me, is kind of the weak link in this movie. Now, this movie starts out with a lot of action. There's this crazy car chase at the beginning, and you find out more about what that car chase is about as the movie progresses along the way. And this has to do with reincarnation. There's basically two groups of people in the world. Some who believe in reincarnation and some who don't. And the people who believe in reincarnation are the believers, and you've got the people who don't believe in it or are familiar with it, know that it exists, but they don't agree with it. They are known as the denialers. Original names, let's put it that way. That was my first clue that this was kind of going to be a budget movie. And that kind of raised, just the beginning and the explanation kind of raised some alarms with me with how the movie was going to play out. I kind of felt like this was going to be a terrible B movie. Well, the good news is it's not. Here's what's really good about the movie. Really well directed by Antoine Fuqua. He does a fantastic job with the direction in this movie, except for Sophie Cookson. I didn't believe her character. Her acting was very subpar. Everyone else around her did a great job, but Mark Wahlberg is always Mark Wahlberg. He doesn't really change who he is in most of his stuff, but he was very competent here. But her acting just did not mesh, I thought, with the rest of the cast and seemed pretty out of place. One really good aspect of this movie was Harry Gregson Williams. He did the music. I'm a big composer guy. I love composed music in films, and they really add to the movie. And without his music in this film, there are some key scenes that would have lacked in a large way. There are some big reveals throughout the film that his music really helped push those scenes along, and without it, I think they would have fallen pretty flat, to be honest with you. This movie is not amazing. It's a very competent film, and if you're interested in watching it, I would recommend it. Is it a great film? No, it's not. The action is really well done. There are a couple of car chases in the movie that are fantastic, But what really bothers me about the movie are there are so many plot holes in the story that I can't even begin to cover them, and I'm not going to because I want to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. But to give you kind of an idea, when you find out what's going on in the movie, Mark Wahlberg is definitely tied to another person who has lived in the past, and with their ages and what was happening on the screen, it couldn't have been possible. I'll just leave it there. So there's definitely some plot holes and some things that were really not well thought out before they executed the film. But it's a competent story, competent director, competent actors, and it will keep you entertained. I never felt bored during the movie. It moves at a very nice clip. But at the end of the day, I think it's the story that really knocks this down a couple of pegs. So at the end of the day, I give this movie 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's very well worth watching, and if you've got Paramount Plus, there's no reason you shouldn't watch it. It's free with the service. They're not charging you extra to watch it like Disney Plus would, and it is a much bigger budget film. I wouldn't call it a B film. It's definitely higher than that, but it's still not a, what you would consider a summer blockbuster that's going to stick around forever. But you've got some good actors, you've got some really good music, and you have a decent story. The story is worth checking out, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of what they did in this film was done better in previous movies, but still very competent. I think you will enjoy the movie. All right, if you've seen the movie, please leave comments below. I'd love to hear what you thought. But this is the first big movie that was released on Paramount Plus. All these streaming services are getting into the movie business, and this is their first big budget film, and I'd like to hear what you guys thought. I think this is a pretty much a hit for them. I wouldn't call it a massive hit, but it is definitely not a miss. It's a very competent movie and something that is very worthy of the Paramount name. So again, if you guys like the review, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You will be notified as I have new reviews go up.